Welcome to Mystic Moon Cafe.
You're listening to Mystic Moon Cafe. The views and opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the network, or our sponsors.
On this episode, The Haunted Voice, with special guest Todd Bates. Stay tuned after the feature for special bonus footage. Good evening, my Mystic Mooners. How's everyone doing this evening? Yay!
Yay!
Here with Jake Rice, the Technomancer, and our esteemed guest, Todd Bates of Haunted Voices.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. So we're just going to have some fun time. We're going to go over Todd's book that just released and Haunted Voice. What is it? From Skeptic to Seeker of the Other Side.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm close if I'm not exactly on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's the Haunted Voice. My goodness, what a lot of fun that was. That was I'm just glad. I'm glad that part's over.
Undoubtedly. That it sounded like it was probably very cathartic for you to get that out there too.
That was tough, when you're sitting there and you're not just telling someone something about you, you are taking your chest and exposing yourself. And for me, that was my way of making amends with myself for what I did. And, it took a lot. There was a lot that went into a lot of emotion. I mean, I was sitting there in tears and wasn't even realizing it. Some of these things you write, but it just flowed. It's something that had to be said, I think.
Sure, absolutely. I understand that. And I read it and was just in that same kind of position going, oh, dear Lord, I had no idea.
Yeah. This is a deeply personal autobiography, folks.
Yes.
This is more than a creepy ghost walked across the kitchen floor in front of me.
Right, yeah.
I wish it was just that.
The light went off.
Right.
The monsters
the
are real.
Open.
But this
Goodness. Well, what triggered you to do this extremely personal expose basically on your life?
Well, that's a great question. I've been carrying this burden for a long, long time and recently became a grandfather. And I always thought to myself, my goodness, my grandson's going to find out about this when he gets older. What's he going to believe? How am I going to tell him? And this was my way of breaking it easy, if you will. So I wrote it to not only therapy. It was great therapy, and I was told that it would be therapy if I wrote one.
Absolutely.
But it was, like I said, it was like making amends with everyone that I had heard. I'd heard a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people in this field. I've burned a lot of bridges that can never be mended in this field. And those are from stages I was in this field. I'm not going to sit here and blame the paranormal for my drinking problem. I blame myself for that, of course. But I heard a lot of people in the process in the paranormal field. It was just, it got to the point where it was an obsession for me. And it was one where I wasn't going to stop. And since I couldn't catch anything, couldn't find anything, couldn't hold anything, couldn't put it in my pocket, well, how am I going to sleep at night? Because my mind's just going 1,000 miles a minute, because at the time I was unmedicated.
Mhm.
but a person has to have an escape, a release, some way to do that. And my choice at that time was the alcohol. And that just, with my addiction to the paranormal, now my addiction to the alcohol, because I have an addicted personality. I'm addicted to being addicted. It's insane. It's terrible, but it's tough to live with. It takes a lot of discipline, you know.
Mhm. But at the same time, it is what it is. We're all human. We've all got our crosses to bear, and it's how you deal with them eventually, you know, when it gets bad. And
Yeah, and
don't
some
give
people
up.
choose
Yeah.
to share.
Mm-hmm.
Some people choose to share a little bit of their past, their dirty laundry, if you will. Some like to lock it up. I locked it up long enough to where it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It just hurt carrying that around. And I'm thinking, well, my goodness, why not just share it? And I did. And
Good.
I've just left that part, I guess, behind me now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still writing. I'm
Good.
still journaling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because a lot of these things were from journals and things. It was terrible, but it it definitely woke me up and introduced me to a whole new world. And it's just, I'm very humbled by the responses and everything, the people that are interested in the story, that have read the story. Very humbled by the support by it. It means a lot to me.
Good. All right. Jake, which direction would you like to take now? But
Well,
Todd,
let's-
it's a beautiful story though.
Yeah.
And I hope it helps you more on your journey.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you so
absolutely.
much.
No, I've been on Team Todd for many years.
Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
have, Wendy. We have known each other for a long time.
Yes, we have.
And the bridge is still there too, so that's good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, so let's just go into that, since we're on Mystic Moon. How you guys know each other? How'd you meet?
It through here pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty
through
much.
the radio shows.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it might have been Mystic Moon at the time too. And I can't remember the exacts, Todd, but they're part of that history that my mind says, oh, I don't remember. So there.
Yeah. We were on each other's shows, and it was just, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot
Shared
of fun.
guests back and forth, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good thing.
Yeah.
Not a partnership, but an association, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Very good association.
Yes.
Collegial. I guess we would call it a collegial.
Yeah, let's call it that. I like that.
Collegial, colleagues, collegial.
I don't know. We have to watch Jake. He gets tricksy with some of those big words.
I like this collegial.
Yeah, okay.
This collegial's fancy.
Yes, it is.
I'm fancy. What can I say? But Todd, let's just start at the beginning with the focus on your book. So you and your family moved around the country quite a bit. And you mentioned restlessness and how your first job, I think after college was, and you got a job as a landscape architect. Have you always had this wanderlust, restlessness within you?
Yes.
Or it was just happenstance with all the moves?
A lot of it was happenstance. I've always had that restlessness. I've always been trying to find, and I think that stems from us moving all the time. I would get used to something and then we would move. You know, I was born in Greenfield, Mass, and it took me several years to lose the accent and the attitude. And we moved to Wyoming, where I developed a whole new attitude. As a child growing up, first grade, settled there. And I'm around all this old history and not even realizing at the time what I was even around. And that blows my mind to this day. all these haunted facets that I was at all these locations. But we ended up in this town in Indiana. We had a choice. We were given a choice one day. Dad comes up to us. He was a big wig at a power company, right? So transferred a lot. And he sits the family down. He says, well, we can go to Vincennes, Indiana, or we can go to Saudi Arabia.
Easy decision.
Vincennes, So of course we didn't want to leave the country, so we settled there, and that is basically where I rooted, where I was picked on when I first got there because I still had my accent, and they would, I was picked on as a kid. I went to a Catholic school. It was horrible. They were relentless there. So going through all that, lost the accent, of course, and grew up in the Midwest and just fell in love with the Vincennes area. Really haven't left. I've bounced around Illinois, Chicago, back down here in Robinson. It's a little hole in the wall, but I love it. It's a nice small town area, and I think that's where I'm going to stay this time. I'm planning myself in this tiny town because I'm tired of bouncing around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it though about compared to the other places? What is it about Robinson that has got you hooked compared to other places?
My kids are here. My family's here. My kids. And I have tried the other scene. I've tried to, because I hate saying this, in my line of work, I need to move quite often from people, places, and things. I have to have constant change in those kinds of things because they could trigger other things. So I'm constantly aware of that. And it's hard to do that, run a station with all the stress and then get this book out and all this fun stuff. But it's discipline. So that's where it all led. It all stemmed from there. Wanting to get this off the ground, get this going. And my place at the time was, I don't know, it was just the Midwestern attitudes, the Midwestern themes just kind of stuck with me, stayed here. And I like how they treat each other in a small town. Sure, everybody knows your business, but if you need help, they're there.
Right.
Big cities, I tried Florida, I've tried Chicago, and I've tried the big city. It worked for a while, but I could see myself getting into trouble. Here, I feel safe. Because with what I'm doing and putting all this stress back on myself, I put myself up for risk, great risk of what they call a relapse, of course. So I've got to mind my P's and Q's. And I do that with help, and I may have to have this help the rest of my life. So be it. If that's what it takes to keep me on the straight and narrow and do the right thing, as trouble always seems to find me no matter what. But sometimes that's just the way people's lives are. Mine has twists and turns and roller coasters, and other people's may have just had a straight narrow. Everybody's life is different. I just wanted to share mine a little more than what everybody else does. That's all.
Now, Mary or Marie, I'm sorry, I'm not sure. She's Romanian. She's in Romania. She's asked if she can ask a question, and she says, you mentioned being addicted to the paranormal. What sparked this passion? Was there a particular thing or event that sent you on this path? And I know you can find this in the book, but we're here discussing things tonight, so questions are good.
Absolutely. That's a great question. And what sparked it was my obsession with electronic voice phenomenon. Since my first capture, I was completely skeptic. I didn't believe in anything of the paranormal nature. Maybe life on other planets, but that's about it. Doing different investigations. One in particular was my first EVP capture of a horse, wondering how in the world did I not hear this with my naked ear? And that's what kind of snowballed. And then there's one I'll play tonight later on, if that's okay. That is another one that was really profound. It just stood out in my mind to the point where, okay, now they're doing this on the other side as well. No way. I mean, this can't be possible. So I became addicted to trying to find the answer. I searched out all these different people, latched on to Sarah Estep, of course, Jason Snyder, trying to find these answers because there wasn't any. There were just more questions and dead ends. And it was just one of those things. And the research, I dug in deep with it. I talked to people, I presented, I began teaching EVP lessons so other people could learn, get out there and hopefully find an answer. You know, almost like someone teaching an army of people to go out and help solve this debacle. And that's where my obsession just, like I said, it snowballed, and it's still that way. That's why I had to retire from the field for a little while. I had to pull away from everything, everybody, as you know, Wendy. I had to, you know, fix a few things.
Do some self-care.
Yeah, do some self-care. Absolutely. And I think we all need that. So everything was on a hiatus. But after I was better, everything started to come back. I missed radio. I met my beautiful, lovely Sherry. And
where is she? I'm sorry.
Where is she? She works weird shifts. She tried to stay awake. Hopefully she didn't fall asleep.
Okay.
Poor thing. But met her, and we were just sitting there talking because I had a station prior to that, and that story's in the book where how that one was lost. But this one here was, I was sitting there and she brought it up. She found me. She didn't even know anything about my past being in radio or anything. And I told her, she goes, really? And I said, yeah, it's doable. That's something that's completely doable. And I've been thinking about trying it again. And this time it's going to be a lot different with the way I approach it and do it and construct it. And that way I don't end up slipping on my ass again. So that's how that was found. It was just a conversation her and I had, and then kaboom, in January of 2020 through COVID, and then COVID hits in April. And we're, oh, jeez, that was hell on earth for so many people. But that's when podcast exploded. I mean, everywhere. I couldn't believe it. You know, being on that, I think it was a 3-year hiatus. When I left, things were pretty balanced out. There was quite a few, but it wasn't coming back. Oh my goodness. It was, there's just millions of them out there, which is great. There's plenty of room. But it's neat watching them, how it's developed, the technology. So I come back, I have to learn this technology all over again. And all I knew, I was just an audio guy, you know, Wendy. It was old school audio.
Does this mean like even have to help Jake?
Is this like knobs? Are we talking about knobs?
We're talking. I had an analog mixer that I used, old school mixing board. That, yes, it had knobs. They were beautiful knobs. But everything, everybody was, all the hosts are, hey, you know, this video, let's try this. I'm like, video. So we tried it, loved it. You know, it was something different. So that's kind of, now we do both. We shoot a stream on both. It's tricky.
We did that too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm lucky
But
to
it's-
have the technomancer there.
That's the thing. If you don't know it, you can get lost. It's so advanced than what it used to be with
Yes.
things like Restream and StreamYard and Zoom. I
Mhm.
mean, back in the day there was Skype that
Yes.
would barely work, remember?
Yes, I do.
It
Yeah.
still barely works.
It still barely works. And it's come a long way. You know,
Yes.
like when my show started, I'll never forget the day, November 6th of 2004, that show started, and there was so little on the internet at the time.
Mm-hmm.
With that streaming radio. There was just a handful, maybe 4 paranormal based shows that you would see back then. And then just to see them blossom since television raise the awareness. I mean, it killed some of it, but it also raised the awareness of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that helped with a lot of these different shows coming out, people learning. And I like seeing it develop the way it's developing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot of those, the television ones that are obviously there for the ratings and not the science or the, what am I looking for? Not science, Jake, but
It's not really about the craft or advancing the
Right,
field.
right.
It's
or even a passion for the paranormal.
yeah,
Entertainment.
Mhm.
it's entertainment. I mean, and I'm not going to fault them for putting out an entertaining product.
No.
I mean, I get a good chuckle.
People still put their quarters in.
Yeah, or let the debit card, renew the subscription, the $4.99 a month subscription, because
Mhm,
everything's streaming now.
And I could say this, I narrate one of these shows.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's a good segue because,
Yes.
so Todd, I mean, you do got the voice. You got, I'm a man voice. So
Somewhere
how,
between, yeah. Mm-hmm.
like, how does one fall into voiceover narrating for like major cable networks? How the hell does that happen?
It's fun. And a lot of it is done underground. A lot of it is done behind scenes. A lot of it is done. They'll send you a quick script, like a certain video game company sent me a script, and I did it. I was it was between me and 4 other people, and I got the gig. So they'll send you little scripts. They'll hide them. So a lot of the stuff I put up, but I didn't really come out with, hey, this is what I'm doing, because they want those things quiet. They don't want to know that they just paid some guy that just did this from his house. They wanted to think it came from this huge, massive production studio. So there's a lot of magic in with that. But man, is that fun. It is just, my dad, God rest his soul, and I sound identical. His voice sounds just like this. And people were telling me that all my life, you should get into radio or something. I've always loved it. But then when I started my own show and talking back in 04, 03, things were rolling along with it really well. And I wanted to learn more about digital radio. And everything seemed to be coming online at the time. So I went into a broadcasting school. Funnest time of my life. I mean, sitting there working in a college station, for crying out loud. That's just fun. You're spinning classic rock records, having fun doing that. And then they honed the skill on the voiceover. They called it voice talent. I wasn't a voice actor. I do different sounds, different characters and things if needed, but I'm not a voice actor. I'm more of I was trained to specialize in narrations, commercials, things like that, movie trailers, fun stuff like that. And it's real addictive stuff because you kind of you'll get like the movie trailer I did was for one that Edward Furlong was in, and it got released. It went straight to DVD. The movie must have just been awful. Available. I had to do the available DVD ad for it. And I'm thinking, well, I've never even seen it in the theaters yet. So I'm thinking, okay, but you get those kind of fun gigs like that, and you've got to get into this mode, kind of flip a switch. And what's funny is you kind of worry about what people like say your family's home and I'm in here cranking out some voiceovers. They have to think I'm nuts in here, screaming, cussing whenever I miss a beat. God only knows what they think. I'm just the nutty guy in there screaming. But it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Can you specifically name any of these voiceovers you've done or narrations, or is that not allowed?
Yeah, because we want to go to YouTube and look them all up.
Well, yeah.
They're all on my SoundCloud account. You can on SoundCloud, they're all on my website, Todd Michael Bates too, toddmichaelbates.com. And all of them are in there. That way I don't have to name them, but they're all there.
Okay.
But they're
I dropped it. I dropped it in the chat.
Perfect.
You can get some hits.
Games. I did one for Xbox.
Okay.
Cool.
For one of their games, called BioShock Infinite.
Oh yeah, I know BioShock. Yep.
Played with that for a little while. That was fun. That was really fun. Most of them have been what are called imaging, station imaging.
That's like when they read the call letters and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
good.
WZO, whatever, the buzz, those kinds of imaging. Those are fun. They're fast paced though. You're dropping these things like crazy, going back and forth, but those are a lot of fun. And then I stepped away from it. I tried the Fiverr thing for a while.
I was going to ask I hear all about the voiceover folks, and they always talk about Fiverr and Upwork, and I forget what the other one is. Voices. I think it's Voices. Yeah,
Voices 1, 2, 3. That's the other one I did. And they're a crapshoot. They really are. You get some good people. You get some garbage coming through there as well. Some people, oh my goodness, they're terrible. But mostly nice people come through there, and you get fun gigs here and there. They just want your voice, and you just say certain things. And the reason why a lot of them chose me for a lot of these is because I did the production part as well, not just the voice, but I also applied the music and any sound effects and stuff. So they got the full package instead of having to pay extra. Grab the voice. Okay, now we got to give it to an editor. Okay, now we got to. So if I do the whole thing, they pay one flat fee. They like that. I like that. Everybody's happy.
I'd be like, you were going exclusive, right?
Right here. Yeah.
But you said you were doing narration for
the Ghost
cable
Finder.
networks. Yeah. So what ghosty shows? It's in your book. You mentioned Travel Channel, and so what were those shows?
I can't.
Oh, you can't?
I can't. I still can't.
It's not on toddmichaelbates.com?
Oh man.
Nope.
Damn it. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to peruse Discovery Plus and just like play a little bit of every.
It's back.
Sounds
It's
like
back
that
in
could be fun,
2010.
yeah.
Okay.
You'll find it.
Okay.
But the one I narrate for now, it's called the Ghost Finders, and they're on Paraflix. They're on Apple TV, Roku, all those fun places. Amazing.
I just watched one of those.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I got Paraflix. This is not an endorsement. However, Paraflix, if you would like to advertise on our show, just contact me at ineedthemoney@cashdollars.com. Thanks very much.
Get him, Jacob.
I'm a capitalist pig. What can I say?
It's America, by God. America. No, it's a fun show. I mean, Rob and Dan, Melody, they're all just great people. They're genuine. And there are some entertainment values in there, but they're genuine people as well. They go out there and really investigate these things. And the narration part is fun. And if he's listening, he's going to kill me how I talk about production, but I'll let this go. Like I'm sitting here, I'll just be sitting here doing my job in the busiest moment of the day. Bling, there's a script and it has to be done, yesterday, because by the time I get them, I'm the last one to get the stuff before it's aired. So I'm sitting there, I got the busiest day ever. And here, bling, bling, they're just loading up in here. And so I've got to drop some things to get those voiced, and you've got to voice them fast. It's not like I'm sitting there watching them walk down this abandoned hallway. I don't see that. I have to picture them in this area.
Oh, you don't get the AV script. You don't get one column's the video, the other column's the audio. You just say these words.
Yep. I get them fast. And he's got them perfectly lined out as to when, let's say, they walk into another room or they go upstairs, or Rob he is incredible with putting those in there where they need to be. He does the history in the beginning and then places them throughout. I really like how they do that. And I like how that system works. Even though I have to drop everything, at least I know, okay, time to go to work. So at least, and it's not spaced out between weeks. Like 2 weeks, I get this script, and then 2 weeks later, I get this script. I like them all like that. That way, he's got it all polished to where he needs it, and just drops me where he needs me throughout there. So I think it's a nice little system. It's a nice little system. That's a lot of fun to do as well, because I love history, and to talk about a lot of these narrations I get. It's I just sit there and you memorize that little script, and you just close your eyes and you picture you're going on that boat in 1611. You're sailing on that thing. You can smell the salty air. You have to suck all these things in, and then it just comes right out of your mouth. It's amazing how it works. Yeah.
Well, I
A
know
lot of fun.
You narrated that little short, weird Halloween story I had last year, which was cool as hell. We got all kinds of compliments and everything on it. And I put that to you directly because it wouldn't have been right in my voice. So
That was the one with the jump scare ending, right?
yes, pretty much.
Yep. I remember this. I was just like, who was the man beast that did that?
Man beast.
And something about
That was like some
swallowing,
alpha
eating
male
mice.
out
Yeah.
there. Just like
Oh,
Mhm.
but it's fun doing those, and they can change at any moment. And that's why I think I enjoy more of the behind the scenes production than ever up front. I like with the station. I love building it. I love doing the production for the shows.
Mhm.
It's very therapeutic. It's frustrating at times,
Oh yeah.
but it's therapeutic,
Mhm.
just playing with it and learning the new things. The new things come out, and you guys know as well as I do, it's cheaper to do this stuff yourself than to outsource it, because that's where it gets expensive. So you just learn how to work all these programs yourself. If Photoshop is needed, you learn how to work that beast. If like Apple Motion or one of those is needed, you learn how to work one of those beasts. And I know just enough to be dangerous. I'm no master at any of them. I know just enough to be dangerous and to be cheap,
Right.
because the video stuff is so expensive. It really is.
It's not cheap. It's high margin.
High margin.
Yeah,
I love
that's what I was
that.
thinking.
High margin.
It's like it costs this much. I'm like, it's like I know how to make that high margin. Keep that low. Get rid of those variable costs. We're good to go.
Yeah. Sons of mothers. No, but it's so much fun. They say if you have a job that you love to do, you never work a day in your life. I love what I do every day. You know, I start my day about 6 o'clock, 6:30 sometimes if I'm lucky, and it ends between 11:30. And that's okay.
Yes.
You know, I mean, doing what I'm doing takes time. It takes effort. It takes scheduling. It takes a dry erase board. It takes those kinds of things. And when I lay my head down at night, it's a good kind of tired. Because I know I didn't sit on my ass. I created something. I tried to make something today, you know, and that's what kind of pushes me every day, no matter how long the day goes. If something comes up, I have to make something. Something has to be upgraded, or something has to be new. Something has to change that day for me to have a complete day, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, productive. We all need to be productive somehow.
Yes. Yeah, because if I'm not, I get in trouble, guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Oh geez.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing about being a creative, though, because you know, letting the swirling dervish of the brain, trying to, I guess, was it not synchronize, but you know, that synthesize, because everything's been done, right? So it's like, well, how do I have the most fun with this concept? That's, you know, I do a ghost story podcast. You know, that's a lot of ghost stories have been done. You know, there's nothing, but I'm like, how can I plus this up at least? And you know, and it's also great when you're like the lead creative too, the writer, director, do all that stuff. I mean, it doesn't, let's just say the brain doesn't get a chance to be idle.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's more fun when he writes in a part that he needs another voice for, and I get tagged, because that's fun.
Yes, and you were Professor Merle, or Director Merle. I did a creature feature podcast.
Oh, cool.
Took place in St. Louis, and it was about specters haunting a antebellum exhibit at a museum.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And we got to destroy it. It was just like the urban fantasy books that I read so much.
Because, you know, the city signed the waiver. So what the hell?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
It wasn't very long, but it was a lot.
No.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And that's what counts.
Yeah. But, you know, sound design takes forever. I think that's the longest part of any audio production, is the sound design. Back to you, Todd.
Back to you, Todd.
Back to you, yeah.
So I hear you got some EVPs for us to listen. Let's just start in the book in chapter 6, I believe. This is where you meet Sarah Estep and Jason Snyder. I think I always get his name screwed up, from the Crawford County
Illinois Ghost Hunter Society.
And they taught you a thing about EVPs. So first things first, you mentioned she used a reel-to-reel. What the hell is a reel-to-reel?
Seriously?
Reel-to-reel? Is this just like
800 years?
let's teach him something, Wendy.
Learn me good.
Reel is a magnetic recorder, and it has one round wheel. It has two round wheels, and one will spin real slow and the other one runs it across the magnet head. That is how recording basically first started.
Yes. Yeah.
I still, to this day,
Okay.
He may have one. Okay, peeps, we're going back to the archives.
have a tape recorder.
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's like
basically
the
a mini.
RCA Panasonic thingy majig?
Yeah,
It's a little
it's a
globe.
Okay,
Panasonic,
yeah.
Panasonic audio recorder. Now,
Mhm.
like these EVP you're going to hear tonight, they were all captured on a cassette. None of them
Yes.
digital. I prefer that because I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm still using it. And we just used it last weekend, that method. It's pricey with the cassette tapes.
Yeah.
They're a little pricey. It's a little lengthy to go through your data. You get less EVP on an analog recorder, but they're more pronounced. They're and you'll hear in some of these they're a lot more clear than a digital, for example. Yeah, hence the addiction beginning with these recordings, because you hear these voices back on the tape, and some of them will blow your mind because you just know that wasn't said. No one was there. Matter of fact, a few of the ones that I've captured were female voices and there were only males present. So, there's things you can't explain with them. So with some of these that, I'll play for you here in a second. Every capture has a story behind it. And some are clear, some aren't. Sarah, that's the first thing that Sarah taught me was the ABC classification system. She was a preschool teacher. She brought electronic voice phenomena to this country. She brought it over from England, basically. And she developed that system, ABC. The A being everybody can hear and understand what it is. B is kind of, yeah, I can hear that, but really can't make it out. And C are basically your whispers. So that ABC system we still use to this day, except there's a lot of different methods and things now. What I see now are people blending ITC and EVP together.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I see that coming together. It needs to be separated because they're two separate animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I am still researching the magnetics behind it. I personally feel the spirit imprints themselves magnetically, like a static charge, onto the little head on the magnetic device on the player. Digital recorder, they're captured through what are called sample rates. The voice comes in, the sound comes in, the recorder digitalizes it with a computer and then rates it with its sample rates. So those really aren't that accurate. If I was going to me, a cassette capture of an EVP is just more tangible than a computer doing it on a digital recorder, if that makes any sense. That's just the way that's where I'm at. I haven't advanced. I don't even know what the hell an SLS camera is, or these REM pod things. Come on, give me a minute.
You're better off.
There's so much
Better
out
off
there.
not knowing.
Good.
Right, Jake?
Gadgets are fun. Gadgets are fun.
And I love a good gadget. And there's so much more to learn. I still haven't figured out this thing yet, so I'm still trying to make that way.
Well, and you almost, in my head, my head went, okay, if it's done magnetically, I wonder if that can help charge whatever energy is trying to communicate with you, if it can pull a little energy from that as well and make it more clear or something.
I believe they do.
Mhm.
I believe they do. I really do. It's just from the research I've done, and I've tried both analog and digital recording, I've gotten more captures with digital, but they were of less quality than the few captures I got with analog. And they were like this. Well, when we first connected, the screaming one you heard, that, good Lord, that scared the crap out of me when I played that back. That was on an old bridge. And what
Wow.
that was captured on an old bridge in Vincennes, Indiana.
Mm.
Just an old bridge, an old, the train trestle bridge that turn around. Let me see. You want me to pull it up?
Oh, yeah.
please,
Let's throw
yeah.
down with some EVPs.
Mhm.
All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so this first one was captured at that bridge in Vincennes, an old train trestle bridge. This was captured on, we were doing a stationary analog recording session at the very beginning of this bridge and captured this.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
And to us, it sounded like an old lady saying hello, screaming hello.
I definitely got the hello out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or somebody in a lot of distress, maybe a help or hello, help, I don't know, but yeah.
And going through, so sitting there at the bridge, of course, you're hearing crickets, you're hearing wildlife, you're hearing this and that. But then you go back and you listen to this and something like that pops up. That really grabs your attention. It really does. And any researcher that's ever captured one knows that. And then once you do, you're hooked for the most part. This second one here is one of my favorites. This is the one that taught me that a spirit can interact just by that. A breath. I never thought a spirit could do a breath sound. But this was captured at the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas. I was investigating with Deborah Pickman. We were up there in Sally's bedroom doing a question and answer session. And this was captured. We had a candle sitting in there and we were asking the spirit to blow out the candle.
Okay.
This is what we got. Maybe.
Hello, Sally. Put the candle out. I'm right here with you.
And what you can hear, what we heard was what appears to be a blowing noise. And at the end, a disembodied voice saying too hard. I'll play it again, see if you guys can catch it now that I suggested it.
Hello, Sally. Put the candle out. I'm right here with you.
Okay.
I heard the
And
blowing.
when
I
I
caught it
first-
at the end.
I probably
I thought
have to
that
have
was-
my headphones on to hear that.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
class B.
Hmm.
Yeah, I could hear the
And-
two more than the heart.
Yeah, and it's a faint whisper at the end, so it's a class B for sure. But what it showed me was how they can interact and manipulate different things. Those spirits there were very dark, malevolent, very cranky. So they would do weird stuff like that. Little Sally was fixated with fire. So the candle was moving. It was very interesting.
It's hard
And
to blow
then,
something out when you don't actually have breath.
yes. And that's what I didn't get was
Mhm.
the noise, because we're all just standing there. No one's saying a word. No one's doing a thing. And then this comes up. Like I said, when you play it back, and this is where I did anyway, back in the day, I started to question my sanity. My God, am I losing my mind? I'm hearing these voices. I need to talk to a priest. So I literally went and talked to a priest over this stuff.
Mhm.
And he's, oh, my son, no, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm going to take this holy water on the way out. It was one of those kinds of things.
Mhm.
Because I didn't believe in any of this, yet here it is right in front of me now. You can't unhear some of these things you hear. You can't unbelieve what you believe, Now this last one's adorable. This was at an old Quaker schoolhouse in Annapolis, Illinois, a little tiny town. A little one-room schoolhouse. And the guy that owned it, he said, "You all believe in those ghosts? Go down there and find those ghosts." And it was a little one-room schoolhouse he owned. He didn't even know what he had. And we're in there. Well, there was a couple that came. They wanted to see what it was like, to investigate, and they wanted to kind of see how we did everything.
Mhm.
Well, we did a recording session right inside the schoolhouse door, and we were, of course, outside. I think we left actually. We came back. Apparently, this is, of course, after hearing it, so sometimes it's confusing talking about it. But we get back in there, and then the recording says, well, I don't want to give it away, but it's hard to explain it unless you hear it. But anyway, the spirit recognizes, or the mom recognized the voice of the spirit talking as their little 5-year-old girl that had just recently passed.
Oh,
And the
wow.
little girl said, "That's my daddy." It's so adorable. It was almost, and that's what was captured here. If you can hear it, I know I gave you a suggestion, but it is kind of faint. So let's see if you guys can hear it.
Okay.
And the mom, she recognized that voice and just burst into tears, was crying. And of course, what in the world's going on? Because, we didn't know, we just played it back.
Mm-hmm.
So capturing these things, capturing them, it affects people. It affects their lives, in every way. It can totally change them. It changed me. I didn't believe in any of this, none of it. And I experienced a skeptic that came to a tour that I did years ago, and he was touched. And I said, "That could have been the guy behind you." So he says, "No, that was an old, cold, dead hand." And he turned from skeptic to believer. So it's
That'll do
neat to
it.
see those people do that. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I've had the pokes in the back out of nowhere. That's what my dogs have always done to me to get my attention or
Yeah.
get a reaction or whatever. But nobody or anything was there. So it had, my head says it had to have been one of your sweeties that came back and was letting you know they're around.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe animals have a spirit. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't. I think that, no, that Rainbow Bridge all over the place all day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, people in the chat room are saying that they could hear it. And let's see, the blowing sound, you almost pick up the sound of the flame flickering or sputtering or something with it. And
It's possible.
mm-hmm. Yeah. But those are fantastic.
Yeah. And there's, having those, there's some that are on old, I have one in particular, the story, it's on an old high 8. You remember those old high 8 digital 8 recorders, the camcorders?
Mm-hmm.
Saw on one of those, and it was at that same schoolhouse. We were filming on the outside and had the camera pointing in through the window, and didn't see anything, of course, didn't hear anything. Get back, watch the footage, and out of that window, this real bright ball comes flying out this way. Then another one comes flying out this way. And then we turned it up, and you hear the first ball, "Hey," and then this, it goes, "Hey, Daddy." Oh my goodness.
Oh my word.
And I've got to get that on. I've got to get that digitalized yet, but I still have the high 8 thing. But it's just amazing how, because you got the big orb phenomenon, which, I think is this segment brought to you by Pledge.
Exactly.
It's bad. You have to be real careful. There's dust, and then there's spirit orbs. They're
Yes.
two totally different animals, I think.
Well, and then you've got the spirit balls, or the lights that are like in the Brown Mountains and down way southern Missouri and places.
Yep,
There's
those rod
just-
lights.
Mm-hmm.
Those energy rods, they call them energy rods. These balls of light, like
Spook
like you
lights.
said, the Phoenix lights,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. The Brown Mountain lights.
Yep.
All these things are out there. Are they disembodied individuals, or are they aliens? We don't know.
We don't know.
Who knows? I mean, it's
I personally don't think it's swamp gas, because some of those
No.
places, it's just not the right atmosphere.
it's just it's not.
Mm-hmm. It's the unexplained. It's the mystical.
It's what I love about it.
Me too.
And that's
yeah.
I've been sitting out of it long enough. I'm glad to be back in it, getting
Mhm.
out there a little bit, and boy, am I rusty. Oh my goodness. I should just do a blooper reel. It's hilarious. I'm
Oh,
sitting
you
there
should. Yep.
sitting there with an analog recorder. I forget to plug in the side mic to it, trying to record, and all it's going to record is the metal wheel noise. Little
You could
stuff
say
like that.
that's a ghost hamster going round and round.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So those little things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still fun. I enjoy. The field has changed a lot. There's a lot of these apps, folks. Be careful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, be careful with these things. It says right there it's entertainment only.
Mhm.
It tells you. Be careful. Don't try and save a buck. Get a real obulus, They're out there. A lot of good people make it there. Some of the apps are pretty cool that they have, and they're getting pretty ingenious with the things. They even have
Mhm.
these FLIR thermal imaging apps. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's crazy what they're coming out with.
That is an app, really? Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a thermal image thing, but it's more, to me, it's more of an effect, I think, than anything with the lens, because you have to have a special lens for that, correct?
Yeah,
that's what
you would
I
have
thought.
to. Yeah, so I've got the FLIR app on here, but I still need to plug the camera. You still have to do the actual camera on it, and the app just lets you take pictures and record it.
Yeah.
Record what's going across, but kills your
Interesting.
battery like that.
See, it's this crazy technology they're coming out with.
Mhm.
We haven't even figured out, analog yet, and we're worried about all this high-tech digital stuff. I think we need to slow down a minute. I think
Mhm.
the community needs to slow down, regroup, kind of unify a little bit. I know not everybody's going to love each other. We're going to have disagreements. I mean, they're going to be bad too.
Mhm.
But
Passionate people, or people, trying to pull a quick one, are
Oh,
always
man. Yeah.
there's just a lot of tensions there.
yeah, We need to get some minds together
Mm-hmm.
and get some breakthroughs going. I mean, there's so many. We're not trying things anymore. We're seeing who can go to how many conferences. We need
Right.
to see how many places you can go to do some research, you know,
Mhm.
and
We could use more long-term investigations instead of let me travel all over the Midwest and hit all these places for 4
Right.
hours. We need someone actually to set up camp ad
to
hoc
stay a while.
and stay a while.
Yes. To stay a while.
It's tough to do that though. I
Mhm.
mean,
Unless
you own it, I mean, let's be real. It would be
Yeah.
Well, that
You're
makes
damn
me
right.
think
It's
Johnny
it's hard to
Hauser
do
there
these
at
days.
Villisca.
yeah. Oh yeah. He wasn't he there for like a month or longer or something
Oh,
like
he's
that?
still there like 10 years later.
Oh, hot damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guess he's got that show on, I don't know if it's on Paraffin. He's got a show. It used to be on Vidi Space.
Right. But I think he's coming out with one on specifically an in-depth thing about the Villisca Axe house.
Mhm.
Sally House is on the brain now, but
Yeah.
I've been there a couple times.
I've never been there.
It smelled funky.
Just smelled like murder.
What's that?
Smelled like
What's that
mildew.
metallic coppery smell?
Metallic
Let me just
copper.
lick this
Tang in the
bedpost.
air.
I don't know what kind of barbecue sauce is this.
Barbecue.
I think the children of the corn have been hanging out here.
Corn.
Tastes like AB positive. What the hell?
Easy. But then again, I mean, Sally House, I think guys have a more exciting time, shall we call it, there than the women do, because I never got anything except that it was kind of stuffy, and once again the overriding smell of mildew and old house.
That house stinks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that house just reeks, and that's just all the filth that's in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not.
Especially that
it's
lower
just like,
basement area.
is just like a storage place now. You just throw a bunch of crap in it, and
What they did now, when I was researching the Sally House, it wasn't this bed and breakfast that it is now.
oh, it's a stinky bed and breakfast. Okay,
Yes, a stinky bed and breakfast, 2 stars.
okay, sponsored by Limburger.
But it was owned by an individual that was a really cool guy, and I used to go there a lot. I was so obsessed with the place. I'd wake up at like 2-3 in the morning. This is no joke, and I'd hop in the car and drive to Atchison, Kansas. It was insane. It was craziness, and I'd get the hide key and go inside and do my thing. And that got to the point where I was getting really almost a state of oppression, if you call it that. That's what this house did to me, and I brought that home.
Sorry,
because,
Augie's knocking.
huh?
Augie's knocking on my door, so
Oh.
I apologize for the noise.
No, you're fine. But I brought it home with me because I was such a novice back then. I didn't know how to secure an area. I didn't know how to protect myself, protect my family for that matter. I'm just some idiot running back and forth at that point. And I brought that home, and my kids were exposed to that. They saw the little girl at the end of her bed, and oh boy, she was freaking out that night.
Oh my gosh.
But we fixed the home since then. But that house is just, it's the story behind it. It has little Sally that is fixated with fire. It has the doctor that botched the surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the dad's in there, and they believe her mother Sarah, her name is Sarah. Someone Sarah haunts the home. But the Pickmans had a really tough ordeal in that place back in the day. And now I think you go there and you stay the night, and you can stay the night in the thing.
I think you can, but I like you rent it out for the evening for an investigation or something.
Yeah. That's all I would do in there. I wouldn't sleep. My God, I'd be afraid I wouldn't wake up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Something in there is not right. Just, I don't recommend anyone go in there. I really don't. I don't think they understand what's in the basement. What is fueling that house? It just feeds on other people coming to it. And then it lays dormant for a while and then pops and explodes and all this, you know, it just festers for a little while. It's a crazy.
Feed me, Seymour, feed me.
That's what's going on, like little shop of horrors.
Yeah.
I just need to chew a little bit on that. So, okay, I'm just gonna sit back. A little bit. You come here. I'm gonna chomp some more off you. I like to have fun with this stuff.
It's good stuff.
What, hon? You gonna say hi?
Hi, Augie Doggy.
I gotta see.
Yeah, whenever our dogs act up, we have to showcase the dogs.
Yes.
Must.
I've got Roxy's in here, but my little girl was sleeping.
Oh.
They just want some attention. That's all they want.
Come down to check on us or whatever.
They're like, stop looking at your computer and rub my tummy.
And where's my snacks?
I usually get that. That is, Daddy's, where's my night milk bone?
Yeah, they like the nom noms.
Yep. Or I heard your microwave go off. What's for dinner, Mom?
I know that noise.
So Todd, since we're getting to that time of the evening, what other projects you working on? What you got doing? You got a radio show? Yeah, pitch, plug, plug.
I'll pitch. Well, let's see. You've got my show. It's on Friday nights at 10, Haunted Voices. And coming to the station, we've got 3 new shows. We got Slipstream Shaman. That's going to be starting next week. He's going to be talking about energy healing and things. Twisted Ascensions. They're going to be, that's Caden and Alyssa Mask of Southern Ascensions. They're going to be kind of talking about how the husband and wife in the paranormal mix and their investigations, how they do it as a team, how they still stay together during all of it. So they're going to be, that's going to be.
Without one of them becoming a ghost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I tell Caden, just you'll learn to say yes, dear a lot. It's just yes, dear. It just becomes a habit to nod. Of course, the book, the hardback's out finally.
Cool.
And those will be coming in. We'll be getting those shipments out to people. I've got another episode of the Ghost Finder should be coming up any day now, so I should be getting those messages anytime. I got to sit down with that for a while, but it's going great. It's going steady, and it's keeping me out of trouble, and I love it.
Good. And that baby grandson and everything else, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. I'm so glad you're in a better spot, and we hope it all comes together and keeps smooth.
Thank you very much. That's appreciated. I mean, it's been a road. It has, but it's also made me who I am today, and I kind of like myself. It's okay. I wouldn't change a thing.
Good. Yep. All righty then. Well, next week we will have Merle back, and okay, we have people, and I'm sorry I don't have it written down.
That's okay. Merle will be on with the serial killer collector.
Yes.
We will do some live ETC, jeez. ITC,
Mm-hmm.
some of the cryptic paraphernalia, like Dahmer's glasses.
Yeah.
I forgot all the others, like real serial killer collector. I don't know how you get these items.
Trigger objects of some sort. Mm-hmm.
But we'll be doing that. Then we'll be doing that next Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. You know, nothing says let's chow down on some turkey like serial killer paraphernalia.
Well, and Kelly from what is it?
Vancouver Paranormal Society, I believe.
Yes. Paranormal Society, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, if you're here, or
if you're listening. And then Todd, I got an update. I went out and I was perusing the Amazon. The hard cover version of your book is due from Amazon December 5th through 7th. So the first week of December, Christmas gift, people, hardcover.
Okay.
You can pre-order it.
Thank you. Yeah, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get it.
Mary, thanks for joining us all the way from Romania. Josie, if you're still with us, they're in England. And we've got all the Heather from Michigan, I believe it was, and
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, thank you. I knew it was an M. Chandler, thanks again for
Hi, Chandler.
being with us. And anybody else who I didn't mention.
Yep. We had Sandy. Sandy Huff made it.
Sandy Huff made it. Yes. Thank you, Jake. Yeah, it's been a good one. Another great one. Thank you so much, Todd. This has been fun, and I really enjoy it.
It's been my
thank
pleasure.
You for coming back.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. We appreciate it. So I guess we'll wrap it up. Crew on the call, let's stay on after I end this live stream, okay?
Okie dokie.
Here we go.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night,
Have
folks.
a good week.
Okay, we've stopped.
Okay.
Man.
Here comes the bonus round.
Shipwrecks. I grew up on Lake Superior, so we have all these great ghost ship stories and everything.
Nice.
Okay. So we've got like 5 minutes.
Oh, good.
For that. So Todd, I know I'm going to quiz you all about your voiceover.
Oh, please.
Because when I was reading, and I'm up to, actually in the book, I'm up to the part where you meet Sarah Estep and Jason
Snyder.
I was going to say Sinclair. Then the Crawford County, is it Paranormal? Or the Crawford County Ghost Hunting.
Illinois Ghost Hunters. It's a long name. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, so I got to that point where you learn the ABCs.
Oh, cool.
So,
it's a fun little quick read. It bounces a little bit like my it's my personality bounces. I'm bipolar as hell. I'll bounce like a ball.
No, but thanks.
It's going to be a lot of fun, though.
Yeah,
it's great to be back on here, Wendy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had you on, I think right when you brought Haunted Voices back, you had done like a GoFundMe or something. I gave some bucks to that.
Yep.
And I think you were the first half of a 2-hour show.
Yeah, that was, my God, that was a long time ago.
Was that before, did you bring back your show and then you went to, was it WTK?
WLTK?
Yeah. And then you went there, or was the show straight on to, that's the Birmingham, Alabama station?
It started out as HVRN.
Uh-huh.
And then it went to WLTK.
Okay.
It switched.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it was, well, there was little reasons to it, but it switched to those call letters instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you still in Illinois?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Still in Crawford County?
Little town called Robinson. Yep.
Oh,
Crawford
Robinson.
County.
Oh, okay. I lived in after the army. I went to college in Chicago, and I saw Crawford County. Like you're closer to IU than you were to U of I.
Yeah, we're down here.
You're closer to
Robinson
Bloomington,
is-
right?
We're about 2.5 hours southwest of Indy.
Okay. Okay. So you
4.5 hours.
Yeah. So you're close to Indiana University then. You're closer.
Not too
than
far.
to-
Bloomington.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
About
you're,
2 hours.
Oh, it's 2. Oh, I thought you looked closer on the map. Okay.
About an hour and some change, really.
Okay.
It's just some of those roads get windy and well.
Oh yeah. I live
Fun
in
ones.
I live in the boonies in Washington State now, and even though it's like Seattle is 60 miles away from me, I'm like due south. If you know where Olympia, Washington is, it's over that way. So
Okay.
south of Tacoma. But it takes me like 2 hours because half of the way is winding country roads where you can only do 45, and then you get on I-5 and the interstate, and you make up.
Pick it up a little bit.
Yeah. So I can understand that. So Wendy, are you gonna do the intro and everything, or?
Sure.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
Well, that's okay. I flapped my gums a lot last night.
You're supposed to. La, 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 la.
Yeah, it's those final times. I love that. Everything's just quiet. You can hear crickets.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Because I
Everybody's
know. Yeah, I'm just like,
meditating.
I'm gonna ask about the childhood. Talk about moving a lot. Your
Oh,
dad
man.
being, I think you said power. You managed a power station or utility or something like that, and then you wound up in Wyoming. I'm like, who the hell moves to Wyoming? And then.
Nuclear.
Yeah, all over, and then you're from Massachusetts. Todd, you're a masshole. What?
I'm a asshole.
You're a
took
native-born masshole.
So long to clean that up. So long.
I just you never hear about like New Englanders ending up any farther south than like Philly or DC, nor farther west than Philly or DC.
Man, I ran. I broke the cycle.
Oh, well, we're at 8. Let me get us ready. Let me pull up some stuff. So Todd, just so you know, you're still sharing. So anything that comes through your computer is gonna play. And let me get us started here. Folks ready?
You bet.
Okay. It'll take me a minute. It's not the... Oh, no.
Do I need to log out or do you need to log in?
I need to... So there's this problem with, since Facebook, you have to switch profiles before it lets you connect. So let me close Facebook.
Damn, it's always something.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it was
really
easier.
is.
Yeah, it was easier before they did the mandatory switching of profiles.
Yeah, it's that we ran into that lawsuit thing that they lost. It would come up when somebody put a post, it would say Facebook user. Wouldn't even say who the hell they were. It was terrible.
StreamYard.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's see if this will work now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And this is... It's my other half's birthday. Say hi.
Well, I thought maybe you heard something in the graveyard.
No, it's
A knocking.
Shut the door. Keep the. I got 5 kids, 5 fur kids. They're very big and boisterous, and I'm just like, do not wake Roxy up. Okay. We're on.
All right. Got it.